Your husband now?
Get ready to welcome everyone tonight. Thank you so much for coming to the Elkins City Council meeting. We're going to start with our invocation, and that will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would, please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and all the blessings you have given us. We thank you for providing us the opportunity to serve the citizens of Elkins. We ask that you guide us in our decision making as we strive to help our community grow. We also ask that you watch over and guide our country's leaders. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will now call the Elkins City Council meeting to order. Ask my clerk to take the roll, please.
Councilor Gross Friganera.
Here.
Councilor Carroll is absent. Councilor Chenoweth.
Here.
Councilor Hinchman. Here. Councilor Kearns.
Here.
Councilor Lowther.
Here.
Councilor Pliszka.
Here.
Councilor Severino.
Here.
Councilor Thompson is absent. And Councilor Woods.
Present.
8 present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there anyone here for public comment tonight? If not, we'll move on down. Before we get to the presentation, I'm going to move things around just a little bit, if you don't mind. We're going to start with the staff report first, because we have some people that are going to be taking off after that. So, we're going to start with our city treasurer, Ms. Judy, please.
Holy cow.
I'm glad you're going first.
Okay, thanks. All right, well, good evening. In your package, you have the revenues from March, the general fund revenue trends updated through March 31st, the budget control summary, and Invoice Cloud's monthly report. You also have at your little table our FY25 audit, and I'm pleased to announce it came back as unmodified again this year. And I'd like to thank my office staff for doing what they're supposed to be doing and questioning things that they know is not correct, and get employees or us as admin officers on the straight and narrow so we can continue to do things correctly and have the internal controls in its place. So I'm proud of them for what they do. It's kind of been a busy time, not just with the budget, but for the reporting things that we're doing. Still working on finalizing the sanitation and fire budgets that'll go in front of finance on Monday. Workers' comp renewal has been sent to Assured Partners for Encova insurance. We're waiting to hear back what that will be. Also, the general liability and property insurance will be at the finance meeting. We only received one bid for that, and we're looking at just under a 2% increase for that. And that'll be brought then to council on April 21st for approval. But that's really about all I have right now. Anybody have any questions?
No, but congratulations
Thank
on
you.
this great report.
Thank
I know it's a lot of work. I
Thank
appreciate it.
Thank you, Tracy. Operations Manager, Mr. Kessler.
Good evening. We'll start with code enforcement this evening. 129 Diamond Street demo is complete. 414 and 418 Harbortown Road demos are also complete. 12 Paul Street, 91 11th Street, 94 Ward Avenue have been finalized for demolition with authorization to proceed granted by West Virginia DEP. So we're moving along right there very well. There's another property that we may be adding to the demolition list. We're trying to get it in and have DEP. We've requested they extend the deadline so we can get the funding so we can have that property demolished as well. Once we get an answer back from DEP, I'll let everyone know what the status is on that. So we're kind of in a holding pattern waiting for DEP at this point.
So that one is much needed.
Yes, very much needed, very much needed. And I'm hoping with our track record with DEP, the way we've handled this program last year and this year, that hopefully they'll be willing to extend it to afford us the opportunity to tear it down underneath the program. So
John King is a fan of ours.
yeah, big time, big time. So we're hoping that good relationship pays off for us. Move up to the street department. Street sweeper starts its full-time routes on Monday, April 13th. So they'll be running their normal routes starting that day. We're still going around trimming some branches and other brush away from the streets where it could hit the street sweeper. Should be finishing up with that within the next few days. maybe carry into it next week a little bit as well. To date, the street department has cleaned 137 catch basins throughout the first and second ward. Those guys are doing a tremendous job making sure the catch basins are clear and clean. So when we get some springtime rains, we don't have flooding issues that we've experienced in the past. So they're doing a great job. They've been grading the alleys as well. Once the alleys are complete, we will move into patching potholes and then preparing for paving season. And hopefully by the next meeting, I'll be able to give you all a price as to what Blacktop's going to be going for paving season this year. We haven't got a quote yet on that. Sanitation department continued to do an outstanding job, normal operations. They work really well with us getting their schedules out so we can get it to Leon so it gets posted to the public. So we continue to appreciate what Leon's doing for us there. We did have an issue this week where we had a fire in the back of one of the trucks. Chief, thank you for the quick response and helping the guys take care of it. To clarify, there was no damage done to the truck whatsoever. And more importantly, there was no damage done to any personnel whatsoever. So we escaped that without any issues. But I did talk with our sanitation department supervisor. We've discussed the proper way to handle this in the future. Should we have a fire on the back of the truck? Councilor Lowther and I talked about it today. The best thing to do, dump it where it's at, get a hold of the fire department, get it out of the truck, and let the fire department professionals deal with it the way they did. So again, Chief, thank you very much. Appreciate your quick response and helping the crew take care of that situation. I think they said maybe 25 to 30 gallons of water was about all it took. So we may have an idea of what's causing it. It seems other municipalities and other sanitation companies have experienced lithium batteries creating a spark when the truck crushes everything in the bed.
Oh.
So, and talking with Chris earlier today, one way, I think where you're employed, Chris, the way you were explaining it to me was if people would take their lithium batteries and just wrap them in electrical tape before they throw them away, it really prevents that spark from happening. And maybe I can get with the Intermountain at some point. We'll do a little piece on it. You know, try to get some public awareness out there because with the amount of dry material that goes in the back of one of those trucks, it doesn't take much of a spark to create something really bad. So we dodged a bullet there, but we're going to do some public announcements to try to have the community help us and further train our guys how to handle situations like that. So City Hall update. A lot of interior painting is being completed on the second, third floors. Much of the trim on the first floor is done. So we're moving right along there. We're very pleased with it. We did conduct our access control bid opening this last week, and United Sound was the low bid, so they will be awarded the bid. We've contacted them, and they're going to be moving forward relatively quickly, installing our new access control system in the City Hall. So things are moving along well there. And I don't know if anyone has driven by, walked by. I personally think Keystone is doing a tremendous job to the outside of that building.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're cleaning it. It looks amazing. They have found some areas where the mortar has leaks in it. So we're repairing that as well. So the outside of the building, the water is getting in through the outside of the building. They're doing a tremendous job. All in all, I think we're moving along nicely. Next week, we will have our bid opening for the security system for the security and camera system for the building for that bid opening is next week. And I'll let you all know how that goes as well. But at the pre-bid meeting for the security system, we had, let's say, 7 companies show up for that. So that always bodes well for us. The more companies that show up, the more competitive the bidding is, and that further benefits us as we move along in the project. So other than that, I think I've covered everything relatively quickly. If anyone's got any questions or comments or discussion, I'd be glad to address it.
Mike, the access control system, are they going to be able to use what we currently had, or is it going to be?
We are using the carry system. The foundation of it is expandable. And by doing it this way, it helps us save money, and we're going to expand it. And It'll be much more modern, state of the art. We'll have cell phone access reading
I
into
know
the
that
building.
was actually my follow-up
Yes.
question, because I know
Yep.
we had those discussions before.
Yeah, carry system does, it does promote that and it does support that. So, yeah, we're really excited about it. And once we got that bid in, we immediately asked them, United Sound, okay, we would like our security system and our access control system to talk to each other, what components work. They helped us with that, so now we know, exactly what components. So what we did, we sent out an addendum to the bid from the security system, telling them these are the access components that work. Please try to do your bid accordingly. And everyone has responded saying, not a problem, we'll get that out to you. So, yeah, we're excited about it. Looks like it's going to be a good system for us to use.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
I just had a question, just because I've received some questions. Some of the signage has gone up for the 15 miles per hour
Yes.
in that one area, the Weiss area.
Mhm.
And I sort of indicated, it was my understanding there'll be an educational campaign going out about when that will start to be enforced and
We'll
stuff
leave
like
that up to
that.
the police department. I know Chief and I have talked about it.
Okay.
The signs haven't been up very long.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, just a few days.
Yeah, the signs have not been up very long. So I'll get with Chief Bennett when
Okay.
he's back, and we'll come up with a good game plan.
Okay.
But people are noticing the new signs are up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to talk to you about
People are
that.
noticing the new signs are up. So, and honestly, I've also I got an email just the other day. Someone that doesn't live in that area noticed the signs up and want to talk to us about maybe putting signs up in their area to slow it down a little bit. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, all in
That
all,
was our
I
thought.
think it'll be a good thing to do, and we'll work with whoever wants to. We'll just take it the same way we did these: go through municipal properties, roll the ordinance, and move forward and get it taken care of.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other questions for Mike? Thank you. Okay, down to our Chief Water Operator, Wes Lambert.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see everybody again. Hope you all had a good Easter. Of course, we just got out of extreme cold weather season. I know that we're in West Virginia, and you never know, we could get some more bad weather, but I hope we don't get any more cold spells like we had in January and February. I know everybody in the water division is certainly glad to hopefully see that behind us for the year. Over the past few months, we've dealt with several water leaks, given that time of the year, and the severity of the cold. It's not entirely unexpected. However, we did see areas that were frozen 3 feet deep in the ground. I talked to the guys. Very seldom do you see it froze that deep. Other water systems were experiencing that as well. And we saw folks that had their services on their side of the meter froze for a week or two before it thawed out. They had plumbers in to try to thaw it out. It was just a very unprecedented cold spell for this area. Out of all those leaks, there was one that really stuck out, and I'm sure all of you all noticed it as well. It was the leak on 3rd Street. This particular leak, we had really been looking for it for around 4 months, and we're not having any luck. We did in-house leak detection. We called in a couple different companies to do leak detection, and we thought we had it narrowed down to 12-inch line. When I say narrowed down, I mean the 12-inch line goes 5 miles across the city. So we thought by some of the indications with the low pressure signs we were getting that it was in that area. Turns out it was not. We got a call, I believe it was about 10 or 11 o'clock that afternoon, and went down, and we actually thought it was a sewer leak to start with. It was weird because the
You were
water
hoping, right?
would bubble up. Yeah, we were hoping. But water would bubble up for about 15 minutes, and then it would stop and go back down under the blacktop for 15 minutes. And we had the sewer department out, and they were looking, and we got chlorine out of the sample, listened with the leak detector, couldn't hear anything to start with. Come to find out, make that story, part of the story shorter, it was our leak. We got right on top of the valve, DJ got on top of the valve and heard it, it was roaring like crazy, but it turns out that leak was going into the sewer line the whole time. We were losing approximately 800,000 to 1 million gallons a day for 4 months on that leak. And it took approximately 3 days to finally fix everything that was broken there. We had to go back in twice, because everything in that area where you see the blacktops missing, that was all undermined. There was 8 inches of concrete there, and that water had basically just swirled around in there and ate all the dirt out. And the water sucked all the debris and sediment down the sewer line. And of course, in the winter times, the sewer department gets a lot of water in there anyway, so they really didn't know if that was because of the snow, because of melt, so they really didn't pay much attention to the 800,000 gallons. That sounds like a lot, and it is on our side, but to her, it really isn't. But some of these guys worked there for 24 hours straight to fix that leak. And that's why the mayor and I wanted to call them into this meeting today and recognize them. I know everyone couldn't be here tonight, but I'm so glad that, a lot of them did come. So I'd like to ask them to come up here and stand. Guys, if you don't mind, introduce yourself.
I'm Eric Connor, I'm supervisor.
I'm DJ Shoulders. I'm the crew leader. My name's Christopher Curtis, and I'm a water technician.
My name is Zach Bonow, I'm a water technician as well.
Or D, I'm a water technician too. Michael Tay, I'm a water technician too. DJ, water tech.
Kristen, water tech.
It's hard for me to express how proud I am of these guys. They really dedicate their lives to this job. A lot of times it's behind the scenes. You really don't. It's hard on the outside looking in to really see what goes into being in this field, but there's calls all hours of the night. They're away from their family a lot, miss time with their children. I know a lot of jobs are like that, don't get me wrong, but a little biased. These guys have really nailed it. They've hit it out of the park. They're true public servants. They put the public first. They made a lot of sacrifices. I could just go on and on about that. But it's a real honor and pleasure to me to have them here tonight.
Well, I actually asked Wes if he would try to ask his team to be here. Guys, thank you so much. I can say I've been around this team quite a bit. I go to check on them when there's leaks and stuff like that. And to say, do you need anything? And they always say no. I mean, they're very polite about it, but they always say, no, we're good, we've got it. And these guys work, like I said, 24 hours, never complain. They work in the cold, they work in the heat. I mean, they don't get the option of working inside where it's nice and comfortable. They're out in the mud and the muck. And as Wes said, they provide a service, a vital service to our community. I mean, that we have fresh water to our citizens. And without these guys, we don't have that. So I thought it was important for us to put names and faces together. This is our team. This is part of our work family. So I wanted to bring them in and personally thank you guys for your efforts, especially that 24-hour. I mean, I know you guys have chased that leak for a long time. So I'm glad you finally found it, you caught it, and you fixed it. So thank you. Yes.
I'd like to add something myself. I think the working relationship between my office, Wes, and many of you all have come a long way. And it's, since I've been with the city, it's the best that I've seen. And I appreciate the interaction, the help, Tristan, that you have helped out over the times. But everybody that works with anybody in my office, I appreciate that.
And Tracy, I've actually witnessed that myself, that growth, that relationship growth is what I call it.
Yes.
There's a maturity now and a respect for each other. And like I said, that's just, like I said, we're definitely a work family. So guys, thank you so much. I promise I wouldn't keep you very long tonight. So, but thank you for coming. I appreciate that. Wes, do you have anything else to add or anybody else?
That's it. We do have 18 total employees, and of course this extends to everybody. Not everybody can
Correct.
show tonight, but again, guys, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Les?
No, that's all.
All right, well, there's our fire chief, Steve Hines.
Just a couple things. Total incident count as of today, is 169 for the year. We, finally got hose testing completed with no failures. The guys have also started doing annual flow testing on our breathing apparatus. We've got a couple down right now waiting on parts, but doesn't put us at any disadvantage or anything there. Radios are still hung up, waiting on
Federal funding.
partial shutdown to end so DHS can go to work, and it's it bothers me that with the shutdown, largely not because of this grant amendment, but that typically the first weekend in May is the Fallen Firefighters Memorial at the National Fire Academy in Emmitsburg. And if the government shut down, we don't have Fallen Firefighters ceremony that weekend. So whichever one might be watching, let's get the Fire Academy back up.
Anything else, Chief?
No, I mean, just to kind of touch on what Mike said, I mean, my guys told me they believed it was probably some type of lithium ion battery, whether it was vape or something of that nature. And, you know, that's why I hate EVs and always will. And,
Yes.
you know, you can, I mean, I ordered 2 garage door remotes, for the trucks, and because it had a lithium ion battery in it, I had to pay a hazmat charge to get them and send them back because they weren't right to begin with. So I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened before.
Yeah.
When you start looking across sanitation forums, it's starting to become,
It's far more common.
yeah.
Yeah, it's far more common than what we realize. And as we're sitting here, Leon's emailing me and we're getting information to be put out. So it's great.
My concern is the risk of our employees, really, so I'm good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
and all it takes is a couple things. You never know what's in the dumpster,
Exactly.
the garbage.
Something flammable.
And all you need is to get a couple chemicals in there that don't like each other,
Mhm.
or that compactor putting pressure, physical pressure on that battery and causing it to rupture, and it's game on. So, you know, the trend 10, 15 years ago, even in metro areas, people throwing their remnants and waste products of meth labs and dumpsters, and they would like burn. Once the garbage truck gets it, starts down the road, it gets in there and mixes with everything else. And I mean, burn a garbage truck down to the frame rails. So, and there's really nothing you can do about it.
How much is a garbage truck?
Well,
Not as much as a fire truck, but
not as much as a fire truck, but I can answer that question because we want to buy one. $251,000. It's time of year, and that's for the finance committee meeting on Monday. $251,000. Just a little prelude into what's going on Monday.
so that's all I've got.
Anything else for Steve tonight? Here representing the Elkins Police Department is Sergeant Schiffer. Do you have anything, sir?
No report.
Thank you. Our city clerk, Mr. Stokes.
Thank you, Mayor. Written report in your packets, high points that I would list. TIF Advisory Committee is meeting tomorrow. Our investment banker who's supporting us with the TIF is going to make a recommendation at that point about what size a bond could be based on revenues so far. I won't predict it, but we'll report out from that. Whatever happens in that meeting as far as bond size, we'll initiate a process where we'll come through the finance committee. I do have it on the agenda for Monday. I'm not sure what will be ready quite at that point. But point being, we're still looking at trying to issue a bond this year make use of some congressionally directed spending we were awarded in the FY26 budget and get started with engineering plans for the streetscape and riverfront, possibly do a grant match that would help construction of the bike skills area in Glendale Park that EPRC and East have a grant for, and possibly do some small first steps on some part of the riverfront or streetscape, possibly in calendar year 2026. Ever optimistic, I went ahead and put in another congressionally directed spending application for next year. So we'll see. I tried to express that these projects are going to proceed in chunks. So any amount of money could pay for any size chunk, and hopefully flexibility will help. Keep in mind that always requires Congress to approve a budget. So that's always an open question. Comprehensive plan public presentation will be in this room in 1 week, 6 p.m. We'll also live stream it and take questions over the live stream. We'll be hosting the WVU planning consultant who's been assisting the commission. She'll do a presentation giving an overview of the plan, and we'll be getting closer to starting the official adoption process later this summer. Council rules of procedure. I'm just looking for a less busy meeting to do a presentation to council so you can start to consider some of the recommended changes. Working on the city media policy. That will come through rules of its next meeting. We're still in a holding pattern thinking about what to do about really high volume Freedom of Information Act requests that we're getting. That'll also be a topic before rules and ordinances. I've been talking with Dwayne just informally about the moves we need to make as far as message archiving. Again, very early conversation stage. The zoning amendment process, policy and forms coming out of the Planning Commission will come to the next council meeting. And as a reminder to everyone, at the end of this month, there's ethics training online, April 30th, 12 to 1 p.m. You should have a Zoom link in your calendars. Any questions? And let me also thank Tracy's staff for the clean budget. That's my favorite thing about working at City of Elkins, is that the money is solid and accounted for. And I think people don't realize how tough it would be to work at a place where there are any questions about that. Credibility is really important. And I also commend the water department for their work. That's all I have.
Anything for something? Well, sir, you're still up.
My presentation.
We have a presentation. You're still up.
So I have this all ready to go.
I know how to do your call.
How quick I can set this up. Unless you guys want to just.
Netflix.
All right, long promised, finally delivered. I just want to give a high level update on progress across all departments in the general fund on the implementation of council's 2024-2029 specific plan. Just giving you an update on kind of very broadly progress, timing, and key issues that we're working on or that we've encountered. I did distribute by email the actual notes that are detailed about each task or goal. I can also forward this to the media. I meant to have it in the packets and I just overlooked that. So I'm going to give you a concise implementation update. For details, consult those notes. I'm just going to go through a high-level activity summary by department, assess how we're tracking against our various timing goals, highlight some of the successes and any constraints we've encountered. As you remember, the plan was adopted in June 2024. It establishes 6 main focus areas to guide city operations. These are in turn informed by the plan's mission, vision, and value statements. The goal is, with any strategic plan, give you a framework for priority setting as departments look at which projects to tackle when or how to prioritize ad hoc requests coming in. This kind of gives a backbone of overarching long-term goals. So as part of the plan, council adopted a mission statement. Here at City of Elkins, our mission is to provide responsive, effective, cost-efficient services while also looking for opportunities to exceed expectations and improve quality of life in Elkins. And we've provided this statement for display in poster form to all city departments. There was a vision statement for Elkins. It's longer than this quick summary, but by 2029, the vision for Elkins included continuing to be known for a strong arts and culture scene, to really firm up our status as the base camp for lawn forest and outdoor recreation in the area, to operate as a model employer, to have a revitalized downtown and riverfront, and making all the necessary preparations for the challenges and opportunities of the completion of Corridor H. There were also value statements to guide our day-to-day work. Here at the City of Elkins, we hold ourselves to the highest ethical standards. We act as ambassadors of our city. We embrace accountability and openness, lead by example, protect community and natural resources, guard our community's safety, health, and well-being, expend public funds wisely and responsibly, and value and respect our coworkers. As for this summary, basically what I did was collect progress notes in the document that I distributed. These were supplied by the various departments. And then each action was reviewed and categorized based on this input. Many of the plan's goals, of course, are complex, multidimensional, and long-term. So the plan used estimated start terms rather than an end date for everything listed. So that's what we compared with to evaluate our initial progress. The action was assigned to a department tied to an estimated start year, and we can go through what that. And then we categorize things as on track, in progress, not started, or deferred, paused, after comparing it to those planned timings listed in the plan. In total, there were 90 actions, about 38% are on track or completed, 29% are in progress, 27% have not started, and 7% are deferred, discontinued, or in a holding pattern pending further research. Visual breakdown, just another way to see what those categories look like. Blue is on track, red is in progress, green not started, purple deferred. Most of the items that were scheduled to start in 2024 are underway. 2025 items show more mixed progress. I think a lot of the delays tend to be one of them is waiting, sometimes others depended on that. So it may be waiting on that kind of sequencing, or just the capacity issues that face a lean organization. But there really aren't hardly any deferred or discontinued items. The most early phase work is proceeding. The constraints we run into are, again, organizational, structural. There's also, of course, funding challenges at times. And I'll just go through department by department. Human resources. Since the transition in October, HR has been most focused on foundational systems. NeoGov HRIS implementation has been underway. Digitization of personal records, which was a goal, personnel records, which is a goal in the plan. That's part of that rollout. Compensation is an ongoing conversation. We are within a few months of implementing payroll processing, and then the next stage would be timekeeping using NeoGov HRIS. Operations has fingers in a lot of capital and infrastructure pies. One of the big goals in the plan listed early on, sanitation garage, of course, is complete. City Hall upgrades are in progress. There's been stormwater work we've heard about. And then ongoing infrastructure planning as funding and other projects allow. And I just want to point out, it's easy to forget right now, but at the time this plan was adopted, that was a few months before Labor Day 2024. So the City Hall upgrades, there were some that were included in the plan, HVAC, but the large project that's actually underway was not on the radar. So that's been taken in stride, but it's really disrupted us surprisingly little. Public safety initiatives are also aligned with the plan goals. This might even be a little bit stale. I'm not sure if it's still the case that cameras are only about 70% operational.
A little bit higher now.
A little bit higher. That's been climbing. One of the goals in the plan did include working on CALEA accreditation, CALEA accreditation for more officers in more areas. But that's been not as practicable with the quarters that they're in, so they're looking forward to getting back into the expanded space in City Hall to pick back up with that. And I know that both chiefs and other public safety agencies are beginning to consider some of what they're going to need to think about as Corridor H nears completion. Not that that's like tomorrow. Treasurer's Department, we did, there has been a budget calendar that has been circulated early each year to give everyone a sense of what that process will look like. Financial stabilization count target that was listed in the plan, and treasurer is monitoring developments, always concerning what seems like this semi-annual possibility that B&O taxes could be affected by decisions in Charleston, and how that would affect us and what alternatives might exist. Mayor and IT, fair to say IT is really in a transition phase along with much else that has to do with our headquarters and City Hall. Really a planning phase right now. There's an IT manager role that's been established reporting to the mayor. In future phases, there's some thought given to staffing that might look like an IT generalist, coordinating with a managed service provider. Network improvements, of course, are pending what we implement at City Hall, but there is a draft IT roadmap that's been developed. Some of the deferred goals are in this category, but again, that's because we're kind of, some of this can't be concluded until we're moving back into the building and really looking at what the hardware and systems are going to look like there. And of course, funding is an issue, but there's hope for grants in the coming year. Clerk's office, in addition to supporting the legislative process and general compliance, one of my main focuses is always communications and transparency. I have a great team that is always tinkering to make sure our website's up to date. We hear from Leon in the coming month about some new thoughts he has about how to make our website even more visible as search engines change, make it more AI friendly. He'll have to convince us, but it makes sense. We have been working on emergency communications planning. There is some work in progress with Water Department and Corps of Engineers. Other topics, as mentioned, we're advancing toward the TIF bond issue. And I already mentioned we might do some groundbreaking for some of those projects within the next year. And addresses. Every time I look at a city address, it feels like every time I get asked to confirm an address, research an address, assign a new one, I'm really concerned about some of what I find in terms of inconsistency. One agency thinks the address is this, and the people think it's that, and I'm really more and more thinking we might need to.
You want to explain the importance of that, though? I mean, because 911.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a map of addresses that 911 thinks is everyone's address, and it mostly matches what we think is everyone's address, but we do discover discrepancies at times. I was just working with someone who there's a block of a street somewhere that there's about 6 people that live on this block, and a third of them think it's one name, but a north or an extension or just the regular. And so they could very well call 911 and say, I'm at blah, 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 such street. And logically speaking, and that doesn't come up on Google Maps and it's not in these systems. And so if you were looking at the order of the streets, you'd think it was quite a ways from where this block actually is. There are unfortunately a lot of blocks like that. So I never used to be a fan of the possibility of readdressing the city, but I think Chief Heim said it best where he said, It'd be a lot of pain with that, but you'd fix everything and it would be right forever. Have a system that you could just build on. And right now, I'm often forced, I look at a block and someone wants an address and I think, well, I can either give them an address I know doesn't comply with standards, or I can re-address the whole block or the whole street, and it's a quandary. So anyway, that's not the point of this presentation, but it is an important topic. Some of our key strengths in implementing this plan include getting so much of it done despite the city hall disruption. That's not just interrupting operations personnel from things they could be doing, but we're all in dispersed offices. That alone has a big effect. But we're continuing to have strong coordination across all the departments with our external partners. We have had success in securing some external funding, even in these tough times. It's not just TIF and earmarks, but there's some great stuff pending with wastewater. And I know there may be some others as well. We've had improvements in communication and transparency. We only missed a couple meetings, but we didn't have live streaming after the great sewage flood. And so I really commend Michaela, who's our King's operations specialist with the live stream, Leon with his public relations work, very important to me. The usual unsurprising constraints. We have, funding is always an obstacle. Ongoing IT planning and transition, leave some of those up in the air. Facility conditions and renovations affect those sorts of operations and timelines in ways that are both tangible and, as I mentioned, intangible with the dispersed work sites. We do have some legal and policy constraints where some of the things we thought about doing, we may have to do slightly differently, such as some of the ideas we've had about down payment assistant programs and grants for downtown renovations. There's some questions about how public funds can be used in those ways. And of course, as always, just organizational capacity. It's a lean organization, and some departments have quite a few unfilled positions. So, in the interest of time, I'll just jump ahead. I think next phase, Corridor H related planning is going to continue and get more and more serious over the coming years. I mean, again, that's not a tomorrow thing. We'll be working to execute some TIF funded projects. We'll be completing HRIS deployment and getting fully aligned with 21st century IT practices. But I would just sum up saying, that the plan is an active concern, an active topic. I think these numbers show it's integrated into the way everyone's working, and we're just adjusting where needed when we need to. So, be happy to take any questions. I know I sent the notes relatively recently, so perhaps after you get a chance to look at those, you could send questions to me or whoever is involved.
And the whole plan is on the website.
And yes, on our website, www.cityofElkinswv.gov,
There you go.
you can find the strategic plan. It's probably at /strategic-plan.
Well, with the second document that you sent out, I know you had the graph about how many things were completed and how many things were ongoing, and one of the things that really struck me was the fact that those things that were stopped, so many of them had to deal with the fact that the city hall was a mess, and some of the things affected the police department and everything else. So it's very impressive to see how many things were able to be accomplished by this great team despite the great sewage disaster. So thanks for all your work on that. It's a great document.
The one thing I'm going to add, you mentioned that the IT is in a transitional phase right now. I think Wayne's doing fantastic work on that. I do have concerns with the increased cybersecurity attacks, so it may change our timeline or the focus of how we approach this going forward. Because I know you guys have lived that in the past, and it's thrilling. We know that, and the fact that they could shut down an entire municipality concerns me. That's the reality of it. And the fact that Tracy has a lot of information in her office that, heaven forbid, ever get hacked, that's a bad day for a lot of people. So.
That's right.
But unfortunately, we need
Oh,
to.
I know, but I
Unfortunately,
don't
we
want to
need
think
so.
about that even
I
happening.
know. Unfortunately, we need to, so that's the reality of it. So, any other questions for Sutton?
No, thank you.
Not, we'll move down to the minutes portion, and I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as submitted from the March 19th, 2026 meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion. Any questions or comments? None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Under correspondence, notifications, and recognitions. April seems to be the month of proclamations. I will tell you now. As you can see, there's been several. Had another one today. Event requests. We have Ransom Rails Festivals coming up on April 25th. Long-term planning, tacos, tats, and taps is going to be June 6th, and then Clementine's Cantina Mountain State Forest Festival block party on October 3rd. I will say Zach is very efficient in getting his stuff in a timely manner and letting us plan for stuff. So I appreciate that. You've already heard about the building officer's report, so we will move down to the council reports and start with Councilor Chenoweth.
Finance Committee, I don't have a report. We haven't met since our last meeting, but we are meeting on Monday at 11 or at 1 o'clock.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Hinchman.
No report. Public safety hasn't met since the last time I was here.
Okay. Councilor Bushka.
No report.
Thank you. Councilor Prospect now.
Rules and ordinance ended up having to cancel the last meeting, so we need to reschedule that because there are quite a few things on the agenda.
And that was due to lack of a quorum.
Yeah, lack of a quorum. Thank you. I'll send a thing, try to get that rescheduled. That's
Okay.
it.
Council Woods.
No report.
Thank you. Council Kearns.
No report.
Council Severino.
I'll give a personnel report since our chair, Katie Thompson, isn't available this evening. So we have concluded our interviews and we met March 31st for the HR generalist position. So we met to consider the applicants, and on the agenda tonight is a resolution to appoint Sarah Campbell, who is here. So I'll wait to say a few things about her when we get to that resolution. We also discussed the city classification and compensation project and the implementation of NeoGov.
Thank you. Council Lowry.
Municipal properties will meet Monday at 11 a.m. I will not be able to make it due to work. I've asked Councilor Chenoweth to chair that meeting. And Parks and Recreation will meet Wednesday at 5 p.m.
I also want to thank the county commission for actually putting Parks and Rec back in their budget this year.
Ah.
And giving them $17,000. So shout out to them. So appreciate that. Anything else, Chris?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving down to the approval of the invoice payments. I will entertain a motion to accept the invoices as submitted.
So moved.
We have a motion. Any questions or comments? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. New business, resolution 1904, appointing Sarah Campbell as an HR generalist and HR department administrative lead. I will gladly entertain a motion to accept, please. We have a motion. Any questions or comments?
I'd just like to say a few things before we talk about it. Sarah is here with us this evening, Campbell.
Would you like to stand up?
Yes. Sarah we have honor, to appoint her as human resources generalist, and she'll function as the city's new HR department administrative lead. It's part of the city's ongoing effort to build a standalone HR function and stabilize systems and compliance practices. She brings HR experience, including payroll and onboarding and policy development and HR systems work. She's SHRM CP certified. She has a background in organizational employee-focused work in both the nonprofit and public sector adjacent environments, and she'll serve as the primary internal resource for HR operations and support all of your departments across the organization. So I'm pleased to bring this for your consideration.
Any other questions or comments? If you would state, please. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but would you like to say a few words? Your choice.
I didn't prepare a speech,
That's
but
fine.
I'm excited to join the team. I think my first day is gonna be April 27th, so I know I've got a lot to learn, but I'm looking forward to getting to know everyone better and learning more about the city of Elkins and jumping right in.
I will say welcome home.
Welcome.
Yeah, great. And you'll be at the fire department? Or where's her office gonna be? At the Wood Tech, okay, great, good to know.
Just listen, we are getting closer.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
A little bit longer.
Yeah, don't bring in all your pictures.
I'm sorry, Nancy, there's no more room at the end.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you guys.
Resolution 1905, bid acceptance for demolitions funded by the West Virginia LAP program. I will entertain a motion to accept, please. We have a motion. Any questions or comments? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Mayor's comments. I will try to keep these brief tonight. We had the State of the Corridor yesterday, which is the event that we have once a year where we bring 3 counties together. It's Lewis County, Upshur County, and Randolph County. It's the mayors, county commissioners, and the Development Authority representatives, directors. And we talk about what's happening in our communities and what plans we have going forward as we get closer to quarter H actually becoming a reality. And there is a major section of it going to be open hopefully in the summertime, June or July timeframe. That's going to be tremendous for us. It really will. So hold on and see how it happens. See what happens. So that's what I'll say at this point. So very excited. Makes your commute much easier, Mike. I know that. So
They just keep backing it up on me.
I know. Like I said, it's a very unique event we have there. So I won't go into all the details because it was a half hours long. So,
Very excited for that.
Yeah.
Very excited.
So is the Memorial Day deadline gone for the bridge and all that on Parsons Road?
I'm not sure. They don't know for sure. I mean, they don't know. I mean,
I think the weather this winter really put a damper on
It did.
Okay.
we
I
had
think it did.
that winter. I mean,
Yeah.
severe winter.
I will say this, just from my commute, we're working a
Yeah,
lot of hours
Yeah,
right
they're
now,
working around the
right
clock.
there at the ramp where it's gonna be. So they're making progress. They really are. So my hat's off to them for that.
But regarding quarter H, and I'll leave it like this, I had approached you guys last year about our marketing funding, and we took advantage of the co-op that Secretary Ruby has from tourism. And of course, we partnered with Buchanan, and I'll give you some of the
Oh,
results.
right.
We had, after they had our marketing campaign in the Tysons Corner area, we had that garnered 1.1 million impressions and 11.2 thousand clicks. People checking out what they put out there for us, the little QR clicks and stuff. So 11.2 thousand individuals or clicks out there, people looking at our area to possibly come in. I think it was money well invested, in my opinion. We're hoping that we'll see the payoff on that. And like I said, the fact that 1.1 million people liked it or whatever, I guess the impressions on that was pretty impressive. So they were very excited about it. It went better than they anticipated. The email that I got said went much better than they anticipated, and that they were very thankful that we were willing to participate in this. So I don't know if that means they'll allow us to do it again. I have a phone call in to see if we're allowed to do it again. So waiting for that return call on that. But I thought we always ask, trying to figure out how to spend the marketing money. And I do truly feel this was one of the cleanest ways for us to spend it, to be honest, because it truly was marketing. And the fact that she matched us dollar for dollar was tremendous. So the last thing I have is next Tuesday, we have the community table downtown. Now, the rain date on that will be the 15th, the next day. And so be a favor, if you're not busy, come out, break bread with your fellow citizens and have a good time. This is also a very unique event and probably one of my favorite. I hate that I'm going to miss it, but unfortunately I have a family member having surgery that day. So prayers will be appreciated for that as well. The surgery did as well. But like I said, go represent the city if you would, please, and just have a good time breaking bread. And with that, I will say meeting adjourned.